Hello everyone, good afternoon. I am Archana Agarwal. I am an Associate Director for Projects at Pimcore. And today I'm here to talk about an integration between Pimcore and Magento. So just a brief introduction about us, Pimcore. So Pimcore is basically a consolidated platform for PIM, that's Product Information Management, DAM, that's Digital Asset Management, and WCM, that's Web Content Management. And together with Pimcore and Magento, businesses have created an effective e-commerce strategy. So a brief introduction about Pimcore as a company. We are actually headquartered in Salzburg, Austria, and we have our offices in Houston, Texas, and here in Noida. So our teams here in Noida, we implement the Pimcore solutions for our different customers. Okay, so let's have a look at the agenda for this session. So we'll first start by talking about the expanding world of e-commerce. Right? Since here we are all from the Magento platform, we know how e-commerce has taken the world by storm, right? And with this expansion, what is the need for an effective product information management system, and also the importance of a robust WCM. And with that, what is the need for a PIM or a WCM system with Magento? And I'll provide a brief introduction into the Pimcore platform. What makes Pimcore suitable to be used with Magento? And then how is this integration done between Pimcore and Magento, which is through our flexible connector? What are the features in Pimcore that make this connector really flexible, right? And then I'll conclude with the benefits of having such integrated platforms, and then I'll leave it open for your questions. Okay. So what is leading to this expansion of e-commerce? The first thing is the large customer base. We know that every day lots of customers from different geographies are getting added and associated to the e-commerce world, which has increased the overall base of customers for all the organizations. The businesses today are adopting multi-channel marketplaces, which means that they are marketing their products to multiple channels like e-commerce systems, apps, social media, etc. This kind of a practice actually leads that the businesses need to have their product content updated at all times, and also the product onboarding online has to be done really quickly. The businesses are also expanding their offerings day by day to remain into the market, and all this has led to an increased database of product information. This leads us to the fact that what is the need for having a product information system for any business? First of all, it should be the single source of truth for all the product information. So actually we've noticed this with a lot of our customers, that their product information is actually scattered through a lot of systems, right? They would have some information into the ERP, then there would be some other information, product and origination, which happens in their PLM systems, and their digital assets are spread across some other systems. Now imagine getting all this information together to publish online is actually a nightmare. We've seen that, right? So that is why we actually need a product information management system which serves as a single source of truth for all this information. This also helps to collaborate between different teams in the organization. So if you consider any business house, right, you'll have different teams. Some teams deal with origination of the product, which where they enter the information in an ERP, and then there would be some other team which enrich the product data. There is another team which manage all the digital assets. Now having these teams collaborate offline is really difficult. So this product information management system helps them to collaborate and streamline their workflows as well. Now everyone who's working here with Magento knows what is the importance of these digital assets, right? Product information is not only about the textual information or the attributes or features of the product, but also there are a lot of images associated, media files, manuals. All these assets have to be linked to the product to create a consolidated information. Now this product information management system should help you to associate all these digital information also with all the product attributes. Master data like vendor information, category information should also be associated with the products. As we talked about e-commerce now being used in different geographies, you have to have this information managed in different languages. So your product information system has to be multilingual, which can actually have the information in all different kinds of languages. And lastly, the complexity of products. There could be products which have a very simple information where they have their name, the colors, and boom, you're ready with your information. But then we've also seen that product information can be really, really complex. For example, for one of our customers that we implemented Pimcore, they are jewelry manufacturers. Actually, when we saw their product information, we were blown away. I mean, a simple bangle for us is just a bangle, but when you actually look at the information, it has the design information, the different stones information, the different, the size of the bangle, the material, the metal, what all goes into gold to form that maybe 18 karat bangle. We were like really blown away with that kind of an information. And that kind of complex product information also has to be managed. Now imagine having that in an Excel or managing that kind of an information in ERP is really, really very difficult, right? That's where product information management system comes into play. Now, why do we need a robust WCM, right? So, marketing information plays a very vital role in the e-commerce, right? This marketing information has to be managed in a place, in a system, which should enable an omni-channel content delivery. What do I mean by omni-channel content delivery? Now, the marketing can be done on any platforms, which could be e-commerce platforms, it could be your social media, it could be any kind of apps like WhatsApp, etc. So, your WCM or the web content management systems should be such that can allow you to deliver this content in any kind of such channels. It should enable you to consolidate all the marketing content and your e-commerce information together. And this system should also be usable because the target audience who's actually going to use the system to publish the information is mostly your marketing team. And this system should be usable by them without having to have very technical know-how, right? So that is the importance of having a robust WCM with the business. Let's have a look at why PIM and WCM is needed with Magento. We all here know what Magento is, right? It's the most popular e-commerce platform which has the capability to drive e-commerce. It is being today used by multiple business houses, large names. You already saw 3 of the biggest large names, right? So, and it also brings up the innovative technologies, new technologies every day. However, what is not available in Magento is PIM, the product information management. Product information can be kept in Magento, I know that. But the kind of information that is there with different kinds of businesses is really vast. PIM in itself is a total different challenge, right? Also, there are gaps in marketing and customer data management together. Now to fill this gap, this is where partners are needed who can fill this gap and help the businesses to provide an end-to-end e-commerce strategy. Now that's where we come into picture, Pimcore. Right? So here I'll talk about a little about the Pimcore platform. What is Pimcore platform? Right? Pimcore is a leading open source digital experience platform. It is a consolidated platform where you have product data, content and digital assets, and the web content all managed at one place. I'll emphasize a little on the word called platform here. Now, it's a platform. As we know, it's very similar to what Magento is, right? So we know that Magento is a platform which can actually be customized and it can be fitted into the kind of business that is there. Similarly, Pimcore is a system which a business does not need to modify their practices to fit into the system. but actually you can tailor the system to ensure that it fits into your business, right? So that ways you can configure or customize the platform to ensure that your processes fit into the system. It can be used for any organization of any size, any industry. Like I mentioned about our jewelry manufacturers, but we have, we have done it for other big names like JM Smucker, which deals into the food, for data of any volume and any complexity, right? We have actually managed the system for the volume of data could range between a few thousand products or SKUs to millions of products. So it can be used for any such size. Now here, I would just like to mention about the platform, the internals of the platform, right? So as I mentioned, we have the product information, digital assets, the content management, and also e-commerce. Now the data can be ingested and exported into various systems through the flexible APIs and the overall data ingestion and syndication hub. In one of my later slides, I'll explain this into detail, but just a glimpse of it, that you can take data into Pimcore from any of the custom platforms, which could be with the suppliers, partners, or the retailers, or you can also take data from the ERP. This data can be ingested through various file formats like CSV or your Excel or your XML, or it could also be through JSON through APIs. Similarly, you can syndicate the data to any of the channels, distribution channels, to Magento or to any of the ERP. So that ways, this forms an entire ecosystem of Pimcore. So moving on, why is Pimcore suitable with Magento, right? First thing is that both of them use the same technology stack, that's Linux, Apache, MySQL or MariaDB, and PHP. So with respect to PHP, Pimcore is based on Symfony platform. It uses the backend as the Symfony. Earlier we were on Symfony 3.4, and we've recently, with Pimcore 6, we've upgraded to Symfony 4. It's a single platform which can manage all the PIM, MDM, DAM, and WCM together and provide all this information to Magento. With respect to WCM, I just want to touch base on these couple of points which actually hold the beauty of the whole WCM in Pimcore. The WCM in Pimcore is managed as a headless content system. Any idea what is a headless content system? Anyone? Yep, right, exactly. So it's based on API. So all your content is managed in your backend system as data, and it can through REST APIs be served to any of the front-end systems, which could be your e-commerce channels like Magento, or to social media or apps. Anywhere you can publish this content. Also, all this content can be managed personalized, which is according to your target audience. Pimcore is also open source and has no license cost. It is completely open source. You can go to our website and download and have a look at it, right? And it has a flexible data model. Now, I kept mentioning, right, that you can fit Pimcore for product data of any size or any complexity. Now, how is that done? That's through this flexible data model, which I'll explain in one of my later slides also. And you can maintain localized content for any geography and culture, because Magento e-commerce sites can be published for any of the geographies, right? So it has to be multilingual, and similarly, Pimcore can also publish multilingual data. This is the Pimcore Magento connector that I'm talking about, which is a plugin in Pimcore, which has been used to connect or integrate Pimcore and Magento. So it integrates the product categories, the attributes information. It auto-syncs the product information between the two systems. It also provides support for multi-stores through easy-to-manage configurations. There are monitoring and notifications. So your auto-sync process is monitored, and you get alerts and notification wherever required. Currently, we support Magento versions 2.2 and 2.3. Okay. So just have a look at how this integration works, right? So in order, as a preparatory step to have these two platforms integrated, we need to ensure that your overall taxonomy of your product is in sync between both the systems. So when I say talk about taxonomy, I'm talking about the product categories and the product attributes. Right? So both these have to be in sync between the two systems so that you have a seamless transfer of data between them. You have the same structure of your attributes and categories. Categories could be single level or multi-level, and you can have all the attributes. Once this mapping is done between the two systems and they are set up together, you can have an auto sync of data which is synchronized through REST APIs at Magento. If you have a look at here, this is a Pimcore screen where I'm showing the configuration that has been done for Magento. So here you have categories, and there is a hierarchy of categories. So it could be a simple category or a hierarchy to any level, which can be managed here in Magento. All the product attributes from Magento are synced with Pimcore. And here if you see, there are two web stores which are managed, and they are configured here through easy to use interface, where providing the configurations and the credentials, required credentials, you can push the data to these two stores. Moving on, what makes this connector flexible, right? How is this integration flexible that it can be used for any kind of website that you've built in Magento? So with this, I'll talk a little more about the flexibility of Pimcore and what all features of Pimcore enable this kind of an integration. Okay, the first and primary part is the data model. So this is a screen here which shows how a data model is built in Pimcore. It's through a user interface, a very easy to use interface, where you can configure your data model or the data structure, how your product information is structured, right? So taking a step back, first of all, I would like to mention that how is this data managed in Pimcore. So data here is managed in forms of classes and objects. I'm sure everybody is familiar with the OOPS concepts, right? The classes and objects. So any kind of data structure, it could be products, it could be your categories, it could be your master data like vendor information. All of them are created as classes where you define what are the fields in your product. Let's say, for example, I'm considering a product class here. So in this product class, what all information you need to manage. Here in this class, and define what are the different sections of attributes that you need to manage. Some could be just the basic attributes like name, color, and then you could have your price information. And then you could also have this complex information here, like there could be associated information along with your product, right? So you could associate the vendor details here, or you could associate your digital assets here. So from a very simple text or number attribute, you can also configure very complex attributes. When we say complex attributes and the digital assets, you already have DAM, which you associate, and you can associate these digital assets from your DAM either through a direct association, where you are integrating the DAM, you just drag and drop your images here, which are there in DAM. Or if you don't want to use the DAM in Pimcore, you have all your digital assets at some other location, you can use them as external image or external media references through URLs. So you just associate the href URL attributes where you can associate the external information as well. So this is how it can allow you to create a very simple to complex data structure through this user interface. Now as you see here, once you create the classes, you manage your data here through data objects, right? Now the data objects or the products or the SKUs can be simple, or they could also be inherited. So you can have products and their variants together. The user can view this entire product information here, where you have different sets of attributes. The attributes could be global, which are the same attributes which could be present for all the products like name, color, price. And then you could also have the category specific attributes. So a laptop and mobile would have some attributes which differ based on their category. So you can manage those specific attributes also. That is again how you manage, how you create your data model. You have options like classification stores or object breaks in Pimcore, which allow you to create such category specific attributes. And then here you see how these localized attributes are managed. All this information, if you see here, is as a localized fields. Now since all this attribute is put under localized fields, the user can view this information in these 3 languages configured in the system. You can configure any number of languages according to your need. Right. Similar to this product information, you can manage the master data. Data ingestion and syndication into this class, how it is done, we'll see in the next slide. You can also do workflow management. So Pimcore provides a very easy to use or easy to configure workflow system, which user can do it through an interface, and they can configure a very simple workflow to a very complex one through this interface. This is a completely API driven architecture where you have the object or PHP APIs and the REST APIs to get the data into the system or push it out of the system. And then data quality. So this is a very important aspect that the users can manage in Pimcore. When a business house needs to publish an e-commerce site in Magento, they need to information, the product information that they are publishing. Just a second. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, so I was talking about the data quality, right? So here if you see, the user has an option to see what is the quality of the data, this particular product information that is entered here, how much of its information is complete, what is partially complete, and what is incomplete. So they can validate the information before they publish it online, so that they ensure a proper experience for their customers online. So here, this is the look into how the data imports and exports work in Pimcore and what kind of architecture or what all other integrations are present in Pimcore. Right? So here, if this is the data ingestion hub in Pimcore, where you can pull data from any kind of systems. It could be through files, XML, CSV, or JSON files, where you can pull in data through your REST APIs, or through apps, which could be your ERP applications or your PLM applications, which again through APIs you can import the data. You can also import the data through any kind of the databases. This can be done through creating flexible extensions. So Pimcore allows you to build your own plugins or extensions to perform any of the functions which could be importing data from some specific databases. Similarly, the data syndication hub or the export layer allows you to push the data using these APIs to again files, to any of the apps, like if you push the data, like push it to Magento. Similarly, you can push to any of the e-commerce channels or CR system or to any of the marketplaces. Now, this is a little deeper look into what other features we have in Pimcore. So, in Pimcore, we do have some out-of-box functionalities, and other functionalities are open to you as a developer to create, right, depending on what is required by the business. So here, you can create a single sign-on with Active Directory. It could be done through direct integration or through SAML. And you have an easy-to-use interface where you can configure any kind of users, their roles, and permissions on the data. The classification and taxonomy, which we already talked about. The data quality, we already talked about this. You can configure rule engines and workflows. You can also manage the audit trail. Audit trail can be managed for any kind of digital assets or all the product information, and also to the web content. Whatever web content has been created, you can have an audit trail on that. Even workflows can be not only on the product information but also on the web content. So if any business house has a premise that whatever content is created for the web has to be approved before it is published online, you can configure a workflow on the web content as well. You have localized data and multi-dimensional data model. Right. Now here, this is an interesting thing that I want to talk about here. This is about the product classification standards. So over the time, based on the different customers that we have, configured Pimcore for, we have some out-of-box standards, which are industry-wide standards, which are built into this. First is this ETIM. ETIM is Electro-Technical Information Model. This is basically a classification, standard classification model for electronic and electrical products. So the electrical and electronic product has a specific standard for classification of their products, where the products are classified as product groups and then product classes, right? So in Pimcore, you can manage that through the, which is internally managed through a classification store and the key value pairs. So have a out-of-box ETIM model for this classification. ACs and PIs. Any of you have are familiar with ACs and PIs? This is actually a standard for the automobile industry. So automobile industry have different parts. I mean, when you actually look into the automobile industry and the parts that they sell, and there are thousands of parts, and having it, managing the classification of that is really very, very difficult. So this industry has actually come up with this standard, which is globally used for the automobile industry. We have implemented it for two big automobile dealers or manufacturers, and in fact for them we have also integrated Magento. So we have implemented this classification model to manage all their products information in Pimcore and then publish this to their Magento websites. GS1 is the global standard one, and PPDM is Professional Petroleum Data Model, again for the industry, the classification standard for this industry. So overall, if we have a look, into this, I would like to emphasize that when we talk about PIM in Pimcore, it's not only product information management. It's actually a platform for information. So it could be used for products, or it could also be used for services. If you're providing any services, you can also use this system to manage information about those services. So finally, my last slide, I won't go into more. So this is just to touch base on the benefits of having such integrated platforms. Right? So such integrated platforms actually help in real-time collaboration. So a real-time sync between Pimcore and Magento for the product data helps a real-time collaboration between the teams who deal with this. It gives you a centralized management of the data, where all your information, the product information, customer data, your order information, everything is managed centralized between these two platforms. And together they give a very rich experience. Also, when you have such, and both these platforms are open source, both of these platforms have no license cost, so together they also reduce the operational costs. Now whatever manual work that had to be done to publish the information online to the e-commerce sites is done through Pimcore. So overall, your operational costs are down, and accordingly it reduces the total cost of ownership of the overall system. So with this, I conclude my session, and it's open to you for questions. Any questions? Okay, great. I was expecting this question. Yeah, so it's actually, it's mostly into the services. So what we do is, it's open source. If a business wants, they can download this and create their own solution, or they come to us for creating solutions for them, where we consult and consult them according to their business we can build this system. And you can actually create an end-to-end system where some businesses may only want product information, some may want the whole platform, and there are a lot of such customers who already have e-commerce system, like most of them have Magento implemented. So how we can fit Pimcore into that. So that is where we come into place, and we here in Noida, our office here in Noida, me and my team, and there are other teams also out here who work on this. So we customize or configure the system for the different customers and provide them the end-to-end solution. That's the basic business model. Any other questions? Sorry, could you please explain the question more? Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's what. Maybe I'll just go back to that slide. Yeah. So here, this one, right? So whatever product types you have, so this mapping that you do initially. So here, maybe that's not showing in this screen. So here you have an option which allows you to pull all that, your product types and your category model that is there in Magento. You pull it and you sync it here in Pimcore. So all these attribute sets are synced here. Accordingly, you create that data model. Once that sync up is done, you can start your auto sync of data. That is, I think this is what you are talking about, right? So you have this preset where you can pull in all that information. If the Magento is already existing, you have the existing model, you can just pull that attribute information here into Pimcore and synchronize it. I hope I was able to answer your question. In any case, if in case you want more details into this, maybe I have my mail ID mentioned here, and you can write to me, and I can ask one of my technical team members who can, I think, further explain it to you, and it really help. Oh, it's not readable? I'll just, it's archana.agarwal@pimcore.com. So I'll give you my card. Any other question? Yes? Aquino, right. Yep. Yeah. So the first thing which they are not doing is they do not have a consolidated platform for DAM and WCM also. They are effectively just a PIM solution, right? And I think there are a lot of such, there are features which are only available in their enterprise version. Here, Pimcore is completely open source. There's no enterprise version. There is no other such costs. The only cost that is involved is if you want to configure and customize it according to fit to your business, it's the service cost for that. So when you partner with us, we can fit it into your businesses, we can consult. So that is where the service cost is involved. So overall cost of maintenance and ownership is reduced. So those are the two differences which I can think of right away. Any other questions? No? Yep. Mm-hmm. See, it's not about how much data it is. It's about what kind of product information it is. See, let's say if I'm talking about a simple product where you just want to maintain your product name, just basic, right? Like title, the name, the color, the price, that's all. But like the example I gave you about the jewelry, right? The kind of product, they just had, I think, 40,000 products, not more than that. But the kind of information that goes into one SKU is huge, right? So as I took an example of the bangle, they have the information of the design, that what kind of design was proposed for that, what were the number of stones, what was the weight of each stone that was used in that. Then there's the information of each of those stones, what is the stone used, what is the weight of each stone, what is the color of each stone, what is the origin of that stone. Now once that is done, Then you come to actual, what is the metal used for creating the bangle? How much of gold is used? How much of other metals are incorporated into that gold? What is the total weight? And once all this is done, what are the specific features for the bangle? What is the size of the bangle? Where is it sold? Whether it is sold in US or in UK? So this is the different kinds of information that is associated with just one SKU. So that is where you need a product information system. It's not a simple flat structure where you just have 4 or 5 attributes of a product and boom, you're ready, right? Yep. Yeah. So, I think it's done through REST APIs, right? So when you do an auto sync, the first you can actually configure it according to your needs. So is it a one-time sync? You may be doing a sync once a day, or if the product okay. So you can also implement it in such a way that you the initial setup where you sync up all the product information. That's once you've synced up the 5 lakh products, right? But every day more products may be added to the PIM system, more information is being added. So there are sync mechanisms that it could be real time or it could be once a day. And this sync would be database to database, right? You're syncing the information from the PIM database to the Magento database. Not sure if that was what you were looking at, or if you can further explain the question. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
All right, just give us 5 minutes to set up the system here. All right, just be patient for 5 minutes.
maybe you might have used something else, but literally being searching on you're literally being using a search feature in an app that enables you to do more, or even enables your users to do more. So search is so important in today's world that it helps you to solve a lot of things in time. That being said, Elasticsearch is the world's popular open source search engine. You might have touched Elasticsearch in last 24 hours. So in all of these experiences that I've covered, be it food, or be it e-commerce search, or be it something like ticket booking, or there are many sorts of things like regular document search to e-commerce search, graphs, etc. A lot of these things. Search plays a quite important role, and Elasticsearch is an open source project which helps you to do a lot of these things on search. We'll also look more details as we go forward and do more on the Elasticsearch. Now, Elasticsearch is one of the projects in the Elastic Stack, Elasticsearch being the heart and soul of everything. But Kibana is a visualizer on top of Elasticsearch, which is also like a window into Elasticsearch, which helps you to create dashboards, orchestrate your Elasticsearch, and do more. Beats and Logstash are ingestion modules. So what it basically does is like brings in data into Elasticsearch in some cases. So there are many use cases. Previously, this particular stack is also called as ELK when Beats wasn't there. But now we are calling it as Elastic Stack because there are many other open source projects like APM, etc., which have also taken place, and like we are out of acronyms actually. Now, Elastic Stack is the stack that can be deployed, downloaded, and run individually, or you could also run it on a cloud platform like Elastic Cloud, where it is Elasticsearch as a service. So, while talking more about Elasticsearch, what are the features, or how are these specific things help in creating a search experience? So, Elasticsearch is a distributed search engine. NoSQL, it's a NoSQL based data store. You can use it like a regular primary data store, not like a relational database, but a NoSQL data store. It has API, so everything is a REST API here. Whether you are putting data into it, or you're trying to query the data, or you're trying to change a setting related to a cluster because it's a distributed system. So everything is a REST API. There are multiple use cases for Elasticsearch, search being one of the important one and the constant foundation. But there are things like logging, metrics, which are analytical in nature, and driven by several of these ingesting logs from various data sources. There are nowadays there is a new niche that has picked up, like called SIM tool with Elasticsearch. There is obviously people want to do application performance monitoring like distributed tracing with Elasticsearch as well. That is another open source project. So in all of this, search is a constant underlying framework that helps you to do many of these things. You can build autocomplete features like autocomplete, do typo correction, and also do faceting like aggregations on using Elasticsearch. But while Elasticsearch is so powerful in all of these features, does a lot of these use cases, why are we discussing about something called app search? By the way, if you haven't understand, we are talking about two products, two individual different products, Elasticsearch and app search. So app search is a solution that is built on Elasticsearch. It helps you to create search experiences faster, easier, and simple. So it helps you to tune relevancy, do curations, all of this. We'll look into each one of them as well with Magento actually. So app search is like a silver bullet that helps you to solve everything in a single format. So let us quickly get to know more about app search, and also like kind of create this or look at this demo environment. Like I said earlier, the heart of the stack is Elasticsearch. You can definitely download from the site, but also you could also like download app search and run it on top of Elasticsearch. So Elasticsearch is the core of it. You need to run Elasticsearch to do any of this search. So app search runs on top of Elasticsearch. Both of them can be downloaded and run it on your infrastructure, or you could also create on Elastic Cloud. Now I have created a app search engine on search engine on top in this app.swiftweb.com. So in the interest of time, I've not created everything at sync. I have created and kept a bunch of these. So if you want, you would be able to do everything by yourself. So I have we have a GitHub repo, which is a Magento client for app search, through which we are trying to do everything. So how did I do everything? So if you go to this particular repo, you just clone this repo, and there's a Docker Compose YAML file. So through which we are building a container which contains MySQL, Redis, Magento, and Elasticsearch. So all of this like is baked in. You just need to set this magento.env file. So even this file is present as a sample here in the dev repo. So you could just look into this sample and kind of like set your private keys that are given here. So these keys are generated at this point of time in the credentials. So if I can show you, you could show the credentials, and like you would see all of this, right? So these credentials are to be given here, and then you just need to set that environment. You just need to set these environment variables, and like the container gets built with the predetermined instructions, and everything follows the suit. So I have done a majority of these steps, like creating an developer account at Magento, getting those access credentials like the private key, etc., creating an app search account, and then like kind of running. I mean, creating this Docker Compose build, etc. So how did I do all of that? Like I have Docker for Mac. So excuse me. So I have a Docker desktop for Mac. So I have used that to build this specific thing. You need a Docker engine to do all of this. You can do it on your MacBook Pro or any sort of laptop actually, where you just need a Docker engine. So I started running this specific container. I have built it, and I entered into a bash terminal of the Magento container, the container that I have created. So if I have entered into that, installed Magento using the command, same commands. Yeah, I've used the setup inside. It's no different. So you could find all of this very easily using the same thing. You just need to create the input, pull the particular package from the repo, the app search Magento client, so that the client appears in your admin dashboard of Magento. So I'm taking a prerequisite that you all know about Magento, a bit of Magento at least, and like understand what you can create with that. We are just talking about the search part in the Magento, the e-commerce store actually. So now you just need to like install this particular Magento framework, make it runnable, and then you can look at the demo store here. So I also have created an admin user. So let us quickly log into the admin user. So what I did is like localhost 8888/admin will bring you to this specific thing. So I have this, okay, probably something wrong. Okay, I have this dashboard. So how do I integrate my e-commerce search? So specifically, I have this demo e-commerce store where the search is today driven by a MySQL database. That if suppose if I type about shirt, I would be able to see shirts, but it's like a regular, the regular, which doesn't have any relevancy, doesn't have any curations, etc., etc. It is a regular store. So how do I link or change the search? So Magento by default offers Elasticsearch as an integration. Now we are optimizing it or taking a step further by using something like the app search. So you could simply go to the stores configuration, and there is in the general tab you see something like app search. So because we have created this container, everything automatically, so you have all of this configured, the public key, private key, the credentials that you have seen there, because as I have shown you that you could see that we are giving the build arguments This is the public key private key of the Magento one by default, but we have set the magento.env file, right? So that helps you to do all of this easily. Now, that being said, how do I change the search feature? How do I change the search of this particular thing? So there is a catalog search field here in the same catalog parameter. So in the search field, I have MySQL as my default search engine. I would go and change it to Elastic App Search. There is also Elasticsearch 5.0 plus actually. So that's quite interesting actually. So you could go and use a raw search engine, but this is special. I'll tell you why. So I'll just save the config. So once you save the config, the indexers and everything that is pointing to the MySQL database will switch. So you need to rejig the cache and recreate the cache so that everything is appropriate. So once this config gets saved, what I'll do is like I'll run that particular command, which helps you to rebuild the cache actually. So I'm doing the cache clean, which cleans up the cache and flushes all of the cache. And I'll reindex the data, the catalog data, now product catalog data into the in the Elastic App Search. So when you reindex the data, as the data gets reindexed, the index get rebuilt. You would also see that the documents are stored in an Elastic App Search service actually. So if you could go back and see the engines, you would see there are 187 documents that it is reindexed. It's already there because I have indexed for the first time. It's already there, and that's why it is showing all of these documents. You can also go and look at each of these documents, like how the document would look, what are the various things, etc., etc. You can do all of this as well. Now because we have configured everything and there is an error, let us go and see if all the caches are properly done or not. Okay. So because we have done each of this, if there is an error, probably we might need to like redo this entire thing properly. So let us clean the caches, rebuild this. If this doesn't work, we need to sometimes because it's running in a container, we need to probably like rebuild the Magento installation and start changing these things. So I have followed the same prescript. I have not changed or done anything very different. So you just need to come to the app search Magento folder, and then you need to head to the docs folder and then look into the development environment and start creating each one of them. So the current situation is like I have installed an app search Magento client before. And then I have done the bin Magento setup install. That means I have installed Magento, and then I have created a admin user. So I hope that it should work. Yeah. Okay. If it's not, we will try to find out why is it like that. Great. It has opened up. Let us click on something else so that it shows that particular product. Okay. It is not, because it has cache. Maybe it is showing that, but it is not exactly loaded. So at this point, I would reinstall the Magento, because if there is anything that has gone wrong, things would automatically get set and clear up. So I'll start from here so that it is easy. So let me quickly go to the composer. I think there is no composer file here. So let me go and is there a composer? Yeah, there's a composer file. So it takes a bit of time. Meanwhile, I'll explain the features of app search while this is being done. So app search as a search engine helps you to do a lot of things. For example, it shows you an overview document on how many queries has been done on the search engine, what are the queries, what are the recent calls, etc. It also like shows you analytics, like what people have searched and what people have searched, what is not available. That means if somebody has searched for a specific product, probably in some languages or in some culturally, there are different products being pronounced or being asked in a separate manner. And you could find out top queries with no results. So if I have searched for something specific and there are no results, So I would still be able to find out what is it, and like I'll be able to configure a synonym for it. So again, what is synonym? We'll discuss in a bit of time. So I would see what are the queries that I've done on what when people click. I would be able to see what was clicked, what was not clicked, what worked well, what didn't work well, such sort of a thing. I mean, when I typed t-shirts, how many results have come up. Similarly, I could also see what when people search something. Suppose take that yoga, right? If people have searched yoga, what is the item that is coming in the first? So, and you could also see the query details about how the query is being done, and etc. etc. If this is of not your interest, the APIs are not of interest, is completely fine. You would also be able to see how the schema of the document is being done. If you want to change a specific type or even thing, you could change that. If there is a location, or if there is a specific area where if you want to point out to a location, then you can change that data and reindex very easily. Now, that being said, important part is, like, suppose I told you that there are specific ways that you could create synonyms. Suppose if you want to tell that t-shirt, if somebody types t-shirt and t-shirt is same, right? Or if you have another synonym set, like which is very weird, like if Aravind is yoga, if somebody types Aravind, makes that yoga. So if somebody types Aravind, let us try in the query tester, you would still be getting like yoga related details, right? Even though there are no documents, you are still getting it. This is the power of the synonyms of the search engine. So with a click, you will be able to do it. The same can be done in Elasticsearch as well, but it's not. It is done in a API level. So you are doing it with the UI, making it much easier. Now we'll take a step again. We'll look into another feature. But meanwhile, let me check if the files are auto loaded, etc. Great. So let me install Magento, and let me see if that works. So don't worry about the 900 steps. A bunch of these will be done in a single shot. Yeah. Some of the samples might take time, but it's completely fine. Now let us come back to the curations. Now you also have curations. What are curations? Suppose if I have a specific sort of t-shirt to be shown always on top, even though, or a specific brand of t-shirts that is to be shown on the store on top, even though I have a bunch of t-shirts. So I'm always talking about t-shirt because maybe I like t-shirts. So if I type t-shirts, so I'm seeing a bunch of these, but these are not the ones that I want to look. I want to add a specific result manually. So I like Hollister t-shirts. So I'll say if somebody types t-shirt, show the Hollister t-shirt on the top, and you come back to the result set, and you'll be able to see it. But what is the use of showing these documents? So these are 10 organic documents according to the query that you have typed. So if I want to also show Mike pullover hoodie when somebody takes, or like Celine yoga hoodie, I could simply drag and drop those and improve this kind of like search. Like I'll do one of this and see. So that will change. So I could also remove this as well, like this. And I mean, I could also do many things with all of this actually. Okay, I need to do that. Okay. So one another thing that you could do is, like, you could also demote this specific search result. That means, like, you don't want this result to be appearing in your search result. You could also demote this as well. So that is one another feature of this curation, so that you would be able to do it. So whenever I type t-shirt, we will try to see once the Magento gets installed. Yeah, it is successfully installed, but let me create an admin user. I believe there is no admin. Yeah, let me create if there is no admin user, let us try to create an admin user. So once you kind of like be able to loop in your specific search engine, it automatically interacts with your stuff. So let me, so sorry for any background noise if you feel. So let us go to the stores configuration. I hope the other one is still localhost. 8888 and Elastic App Search. I hope this is automatically configured. Great. Catalog search if you want to look at the catalog. So we have catalog search, but we just marked as Elastic Search. No need to change anything here. Now let us see if I type t-shirt here, what will come. So bear with me because of the speed, because it's running on a container for my thing. So I am getting Hollister backyard t-shirt. So I've shown you some magic. It maybe I've tricked you into this. Let us change this and see how the results would change. If I don't want Hollister backyard t-shirt, I just want to specifically remove this particular search result. I just want Leah yoga top. So first of all, let us go back and see if things change when I change here. So I hope it changes, or I'll remove this particular thing. I don't want any of these optimizations to be done. So let us go and check organically what is being displayed when Hollister backyard sweat t-shirt is not done. See, it is not at all organically done. It is somewhere here. I try to pull it up. So you could do such curations. If you want to curate some specific things. Let me try up the yoga. So yoga should show me something. So let us try to find yoga adventure, beginners yoga, etc. Let me try to see Aravind, whether the same result comes up or Aravind doesn't come up at all. So you could see that there are some specific results that are being shown up. I don't know why this has come up. Let us try to figure out if there is time at later point of time. So you could also do several other things like relevance tuning, wherein you have each of these fields. Suppose if you want title or a specific field, let us go and look at a specific field like document. Let's go and look at a document and see what is so important. So your name of the thing is very important. So let us go and increase the weight for that name, so that if people type it's already having a specific amount of boost. Let us improve that. If somebody types yoga, so the products which has yoga in their title will show up more on top than any other thing. Or when we can also like reset it to 5 or reduce the scope. You can do that, and things will change when you reduce. Things will change because that everything gets a equal weight. So all of these are search features. So you could specifically configure these, tune these from a UI, and be done with it. So it is quite simple. So we also do a search UI kind of a thing. Suppose if you want to build a custom theme and later apply it to Magento, you would also be able to do it. So if I have name as a title field, you could see the result here, and a filter field like maybe let us try to see gender, male female if you want to filter on that, and then let us go into like visibility. Maybe I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out. And if you have maybe something like an ID or something like a link that it takes you to the product. So you could do that. If I will put sync ID, maybe I'm just trying to do stuff. So you would also be able to sort these things like sort it based on the price. I don't know what is this. And you click on a generate preview, it generates a React based app. And then if I say t-shirt, right? And it simply shows me the results. And I'm sorry, the gender gave me a different sort of use case, but this is on a whole, this is what we're trying to look at. So you'll also be presented with all of these details. So what is fun in this is again an open source project, a reference UI, a UI that is built in React Native. And then you can download this package and develop it, and again put it like a view or something else in another framework as well. So that is one another use case. So using all of this, you can create a fantastic search experience to your web store. So simple, easy, and without any hassle. So we haven't written a single piece of code. We are only looking at the except the Docker container that I'm running, which is having all of these instances, which you would definitely be running because you are already running a store on Magento, I believe, or trying to run. But otherwise, everything is on cloud in general. But you could also take Elasticsearch, App Search, Magento, everything, the open source Magento, and use all of these modules very easily in your own environment as well. So I hope that this particular demo served you the purpose. So I'll also go back and show you how you could specifically like architect this application, coming back to the, and also share you some resources and about how this can be done. So traditionally without app search, if you have a Magento application or your own application that is being running, you're talking to directly to Elasticsearch like that we have seen, in the catalog page. Uh, on the other hand, you would also be able to do something like your application directly putting app search and then talking to Elasticsearch cluster if you don't have Magento. One important thing is like you could replace your application with Magento, and Magento does all the heavy lifting of creating this customized e-commerce store. So in general cases, people build their own e-commerce stores, right? So people who don't know Magento or people who are not first-hand experience with Magento, but this is like something that is easier and very quicker to build. So if you are interested to learn more, know more details about all of this, I have put up this particular URL where ela.st at webkul-daily. So if you want to know more details, if you want to ping me, there is my Twitter handle and also my email address so that you can write more and I can share you more details about each one of this. I'm really happy to do this particular demo. I look forward to come forward and do more of this content related to Magento and Magento developer community. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can write to me or probably share it to the organizers. But don't forget to collect the swag from the organizers. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for organizing this. So if you are interested to learn more, know more details about all of this, I have put up this particular URL where ela.st at webkul-daily. So if you want to know more details, if you want to ping me, there is my Twitter handle and also my email address so that you can write more and I can share you more details about each one of this. I'm really happy to do this particular demo. I look forward to come forward and do more of this content related to Magento and Magento developer community. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can write to me or probably share it to the organizers. But don't forget to collect the swag from the organizers. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for organizing this.
All right, that was Mr. Putrevu. So now we'll be having a lunch session right now, and I would request you all to go to the